Hi, it's David C. Jones before the curtain goes up, and the curtain's going up, and it's going to look fabulous for Parents Are Drag, which is a show that is created by real life drag superstars and parents, Cameron and Dave. Hello.
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 Nice. Now, this show was initially commissioned. Tell me about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so our friend and colleague, Catherine Carroll, who is the artistic and executive director of the Vancouver International Children's Festival, came to us with the idea of, what would a drag show for families look like? And because Cam and I had many, many years of drag under our belts, and at that time,
Great.
about, a year and a bit of parenting under our belts, um, we we decided this was a great challenge. And actually, I will say, not actually a huge challenge because toddlers and drunk people at bars are pretty much identical in nature.
Very similar. Very similar. Lot of spontaneous crying, storming the stage,
Spilling.
demanding another drink, centering themselves in the moment. Very similar.
Now, was this sort of, I'm now thinking a little bit like Mum's the Word. Was this sort of developed or you just sort of writing down things that you've experienced and talked to friends about their experiences and then you're sort of cobbling stuff together or
No, it's very, very much structured like a drag show. So, there's a bit of banter on stage. We do numbers that are a bit more, centered towards the audience, which are younger. We do games that are a bit more centered towards the audience. So, in my late night show, we'd make the audience members strip, and whoever stripped quicker and faster won the competition. In this, we get them to put on clothes, and whoever can like get the most out of the tickle trunk on them gets to strut in a runway show. But we were focusing on the thematics of the time and place. I mean, David and I were just back in the hall working on it, and what we were talking about in the pandemic, of course, was how tiring it is being at home all day long and not having a break from your children. You work from home, you're parenting from home, but you still need to have that moment to play with them. And now obviously the pandemic is not happening, but still, life is hard. And as the children age, there's a lot of no, you can't do this, and no, you can't do that. And how about a yes every once in a while? So I think mostly, the little banter in between is mostly just around the thematics of parents can be a drag, and how can you make parents themselves a bit more fun because the kids get it. The kids know what dress up is. The kids understand what play is. The kids understand what you know having a good time is. And so it's the adults that are stressed out about gender and about sexuality and about what does it mean because my kid wants to wear a dress, and like all of that nonsense, or kids are the parents' baggage. And so it's us trying to make it as light as possible with just a few of these little touch points to remind parents that they just need to play with their kids ultimately, and it doesn't matter how that play ends up looking. If the kid wants to dress up or play hockey, is our most recent encounter with our youngest is looking like it might end up being.
Nice, nice. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around the show because I didn't see it when it played at the Kids Fest. Um, uh, uh, so it's around based around a drag performance. Like is it does it have a three act structure?
No, no, David, it is a drag show for children.
So, I mean, if you've ever been to a drag show, which I'm sure you have, David C.
I
Jones, you
have.
go in and you see a queen do a number, and then she talks at you while the other one changes, and there's a bit of banter, and then another drag number, and then maybe a couple audience participation games, and then a closing number with all the performances, and maybe a spotlight, a highlight on a new emerging girl, fertility flambe for the first couple. And now she's rebranded as Spike Boy. It is a drag show, and it just happens to be for and with the youth.
Oh, nice. Now in this more polarized and I always say this more polarizing time or the new economy, you kind of go, well, I think it's the now economy, forever economy, and forever polarization. But have you had any pushback on this show? Like, is anyone, when we have drag queens reading in libraries and stuff, did like Dave, because you guys are like running Carousel Theatre, did you get, oh, we've got some angry letters from some people or anything
Well, I
like
mean, Carousel, we really went through it 2 years ago when we were getting daily death threats. So comparatively, we're doing just fine with this one.
Is
Yeah,
you
you know,
have
sir,
to step it up?
I know that Catherine struggled, the last time with it, and she just did a great job of keeping it away from us as, the performers. But I know that they get complaints. We personally haven't, as far as like our own, like people reaching out directly to us. But I mean, David certainly got some hate as we were prepping a couple years ago and he had posted some pictures of us with Dexter as a young kid in drag of us backstage, like doing stuff. I mean, we had to close down Instagram permissions to not let posts go to, just generic people in the world. So
Right,
we we aren't, but that's not to say we wouldn't if we
right.
were as open and as most people are
Now,
in the land.
and how old is you have your one child, right?
Two
Two.
with two.
Two. So how
Yeah.
old are they now?
Dex is going to be 8 in January.
Right?
And yeah, from like, 18 months, was in the show. So this is very excited. Like he was only supposed to be in one number. He was going to be in my Lion King's, Circle of Life as the little lion that I hold up. But then he was in the front row watching us for the rest of it, but just kept demanding that I pick him up. So we incorporated him in more numbers.
Nice.
The second time we came around to do it when he was two, and we did it at UBC. And then we did it in Campbell River.
Right.
He was a little there as well. And yeah, and then the pandemic, and it's not just lost gigs because it's lost experiences with a child that age.
Yeah.
For me, the heartbreaking point was when Catherine then she recommissioned us to do like the sequel, and he was like 4. He's not a 2-year-old. Like 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds are very different people. And that's, we will never get that back. And it wasn't just the gig that we lost. It was the family doing the show where he's this sweet little 2-year-old beast. I mean, when we performed at UBC, I'd made a little beast outfit for him, and I do the big Beauty and the Beast. I'm in this big yellow dress, and
Ah.
and the joke was when I was trying to do the solo that he's such a beast, he's interrupting me, and so then I made the outfit for him, and we do the little thing, and just on his own accord, as he's walking off stage, he just turned to the audience and blew them a kiss,
Right.
and like, that 2-year-old on tour that summer would have been such a beautiful thing for us, at least as his parents, to participate in and for audiences to see. And yeah, we got to do the show later on when he was older, but it was a very different show that we had to sort of rewrite for like a person now who wants his own solo. And now, I mean, I wonder if we get any. I'm wondering if I'm getting any numbers because he's just going to try and be in all of them. Um,
But that's
uh,
sort of the joy of the show too, is that the structure. I mean, there is a clear blueprint of the show that then can evolve as our children age. I mean, like the show now with an 8-year-old is very different than the show with a almost 2-year-old.
yeah.
Again is making me think a little bit, although I get that it's totally different because it's a drag show, not a sketch show. But like Mum's the Word, they ended up doing
Mhm.
like Mum's the Word 1 and part 2, and part 2 was so much more devastating than part 1 because the kids had gotten older and the
Yeah.
stories were now much more like, I remember Jill Dome saying, "I hate you, Mom," like when her kid finally said that to her, and then it was this show looks like it'll just keep evolving as you
Yeah.
keep growing. That
I
sounds
mean, you're certainly right in that what I speak about while I'm vamping so that David can go and change is really that notion of now I'm dealing with an 8-year-old, and for me I'm telling the audience play with your kids, but I'm really telling myself like play with Dexter more. Like there's so much about like get ready and go to school, like finish your thing, do that, do that. There's no time for this, there's no time for that, there's no time for that. And really we need to make more time for play. And that's very much in response to who he is now as an 8-year-old. And when we were building the show at 2, it was like he's not sleeping, we're tired, we're working from home in the pandemic, and he's always there. And so I certainly we are responding to and sharing where we're at in his life and our life as parents. So I think you're right, it will keep developing and growing as long as people keep programming us.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see the show in 8 more years when he's a teen, and he's just off to the side being a surly teenager going, I don't want to play with this
Oh,
anymore.
you know what? My initial thought was that we're off to the side and he's taken the whole stage, and we're just the people like, here we are. Here we get wheeled out in our old timey wheelchairs because dragons are ancient. To participate maybe in a game. No, he will take over that whole show. And
Nice. Dave, what's your favorite part of this experience? Every time you get to revisit this experience, what's the part that you just go, this is what I love? Because a lot of work goes into drag.
Absolutely. But what I love, what continues to be a beautiful, eye-opening surprise for me is watching my son fall in love with an art form that we have been a part of and in love with for a very long time. And we're very cognizant of and always create opportunity for him to actually not care about drag. That like, there are those households that are like, we're a hockey family and the kids are gonna like hockey and everyone's gonna like hockey. And it's like, well, we're a drag family and you can like it or you can completely not like it and not want to participate in it. And both of those are really viable options. And we constantly give him outs, even in rehearsal of like, do you want to do this or do you not know? Like, you also don't have to even be in this show. And he is so himself and is so,
Wow.
um, he is such a consummate artist in so many ways. And it's really beautiful that we get to sort of like hold hands and uplift that
Mhm.
to the best of our abilities. So
It sounds like
that's what keeps me coming back to this show is his participation.
that sounds like there's so much love there with a little bit of sass.
yeah.
Right.
And
Well,
speaking of the opportunities, like our second kid, we're making space for him to potentially be in this version of the show. We're hoping he is, but chances are he won't be. This is like our second kid is very much our jock, hit a ball, kick a ball, throw a ball kind of
Ducks,
kid, and
ball.
he likes a dance party, but he doesn't like the attention on him. Likes to like be a bit goofy and put a funny hat on, but does not like it when people watch him. So we're making space for him being in it, and just like Dexter when he was little, I've got a prop baby that I can like have do a duet with me if he's decided that he is not going on stage. And it's, more power to him. And if and we'll just have to attend hockey matches.
you
That
could you could have your second kid in the audience and just have a point in the show where you go, "Did you want to come up?" And just him in the dark going, "No," and that's his entire
that's his part. That's
participation.
right.
You just have
Yeah,
to be in the audience because we don't want to pay for a babysitter.
that's right.
You
Front
just have to
row.
say no.
That's a great idea, actually.
Well, hey, so we want to wrap up because we don't want the show too long, but I want you guys to both. Okay, so we got someone looking at this video and they're thinking, why should I go see this show? Why should I spend my money on this show? You're going to both take a crack at pitching it to the worldwide audience of telling them why they would want to come to see this show. So let's start with you, Cameron, because you're currently up on my screen here.
Fine, fantastic. You know what? The world is a very dark place right now. There are a lot of complications, so why don't come down and see some glitter and enjoy the light and the fun of a family of clowns.
Oh, nice. Dave, can you hit any other points, salient points, is that the right word? That would convince someone to go, you know what? We're not watching TV tonight. We're going out to the theater.
Well, you know what? What's often the thing that prevents us from going somewhere with the kids is it feels stressful. It feels stressful to like keep my kid in his seat and keep him quiet and you can't eat and da da da. And none of those rules apply at this kind of show. This is a parent and child forward space. If your kid needs to get up and start dancing, let that kid get up and start dancing. Eat your snacks, have your drinks. Um, Parenting can be hard. Let's not make it harder with art.
Nice. I love it. It sounds like because the new trend in the last 10 years or more has been doing the relaxed
Mhm.
programming, relaxed performances. And it sounds like this entire show is relaxed.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, there's a little bit of cinching and pulling and tightening, but it's also
Yeah.
relaxed.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm so looking forward to seeing this and
Great.
have a great time getting it ready, and we'll see
Thank
how
you.
it comes together.
Thanks,
Thanks.
David.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye, guys.
Bye.